What up? What up? My name is Drake Hunt, and welcome to the Ascent. It's a pleasure to be here with y'all today. Ron, introduce yourself.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Ronald Wang, and like Drake said, welcome to the Ascent.
Awesome to be here today, man.
Yep. How are you
So,
feeling, man? I'm pretty excited, not gonna lie.
hey, you excited? Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
pretty
yeah. So this is the
excited.
first.
Never done
This
this
is the
before,
first
but
pod.
yep, it is the first pod.
Facts, facts. Yeah, I mean, I've never really done a podcast of my own before, so this is a new experience. But it's fun as hell to do it with you. It's gonna be a good time.
Vice versa, vice versa. So
Hell yeah.
let's dive right into it. We're just gonna briefly go over a few things about what EmpowRD is, about the Ascent, what can you guys expect to see and hear from the Ascent in the future. So let's go right into it. So let's start off
Let's do
by
it.
talking about our founding story. Well, it's really not like a founding story because we're not really like a business or like an
Yeah.
organization, but I don't know how you view it, but I kind of see it as more so like a passion project, right? I enjoy doing it, and I just hope that as I'm doing it, I could do some good, empower a few people out there.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's really just us two doing us two things,
Facts.
whatever that means, and spreading our vision of what us two believe. Since we're best friends, so we obviously think alike in a lot of things, and we just wanted to share our journey through whatever.
Facts.
I think that's yeah. So I mean, the founding story, if you want to dive into that, I'd
I
say
think
from
I
my
think
perspective.
yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, see, I remember you brought this up to me,
Yeah, so
maybe
maybe
like
maybe maybe I can start it off and then you can add on to it.
yeah, yeah.
Because okay, so
Go off, go off.
for me it was last quarantine. Oh, well, I mean, it's really summer, but quarantine's starting to become synonymous with summer 2020. But
Facts. Big facts.
it was during summer quarantine, summer of 2020. I was at home because we were sent home from boarding school because of the coronavirus pandemic,
No
and
prom.
no
No
prom,
prom. No
no
nothing.
graduation, no a lot of other things that we won't have to get into. But
Yeah.
um, I was at home in California, and with the extra time that I had in my hands, I started reflecting, because after 4 years at boarding school, I experienced a lot of growth, learned a lot of lessons, met a lot of great people. Um, and like I said, I learned a lot about myself, most importantly. And so I took some time to reflect on the lessons that I learned, the challenges that I faced. And um, as a person who likes to think a lot and reflect a lot, I thought that it would be a good idea to write it down because I'm a visual person. I learn best when I see stuff, when I see a
Mm-hmm.
picture or when I read or whatever. And so I opened a page on my notes in on my phone, and I still have it to this day. It's a never ending list. It's called Life Knowledge, and I just put in a bunch of stuff that I felt like I learned throughout my 4 years in high school. And as I was constructing that list, I felt like these lessons could, like, yes, they're lessons that
Mm-hmm.
pertain to myself and my own experience, but at the same time, I feel like a lot of people who were once in my shoes
Need to
could,
hear that shit.
exactly, they could also benefit from it,
Yep.
from those lessons. And so, uh, as the entrepreneur that I aspire to be, I feel like I could do something about it. And so I reached out to you because I know you're passionate about sharing your story. You have a powerful voice, and like I said, you're just passionate about doing that sort of things, and also you had a YouTube channel, right? New
Oh
Progressive
yeah.
Era. So I knew that I needed some expertise on that side from you. So I reached out to you and pitched you the idea, and maybe you can take it over from here.
Yeah, man. I remember you pitched the idea to me, and at first it was Again, just kind of you trying. We it was a very broad thing, like it's kind of we like you kind of pitched it to me as just want to take what we've learned and impart that on somebody else.
Right.
And I mean, that could mean literally anything. We learned a lot of things, both from inside the classroom, outside the classroom, on the basketball court, wherever, in the acapella halls. You know what I mean? Like wherever. You know,
Exactly.
but I think we narrowed it down a little bit. I think it's still very broad, which is a good thing because I think that we have a lot to share. But
Right.
yeah, and I think that that's kind of what it became. And obviously, we bring different things to the table with different people, but still have our shared vibe. Like you're a very entrepreneurial, organized, disciplined, but still very driven and passionate and etc. And I'm the same way, driven and passionate, from more all over the place and less entrepreneurial and more activisty,
Right. Right. And I think it
whatever.
works out. It works out
Yeah,
for the best of us and of this whatever we're trying to create here. Right.
yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah. So that is really how the idea of creating something called Empowered came into
Hey,
place.
hey, 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 hold up. We have to explain. We have to explain. Empowered.
Yeah, I was thinking about the exact same thing too. You can go ahead. You can go ahead.
Hey. So, listen. I just want y'all to know that we're very creative people. Okay. Just want y'all to know that. So basically, empowered, right? EmpowRD. Now, what is this young man's name that I'm talking to? It's Ronald, right?
Ronald Wang.
Right,
Ronald.
right, right, right. And then my name is Drake, Drake. You know what I mean? Drizzy. Come on. That's tough. RD. Anyways. Continuing on.
Right, right. So yeah, that is the idea, and the empowered. The name empowered did come from Drake, Drizzy Drake, Alistair Hunt himself.
Come on, man. I do this.
So that is the founding story. Um, Now let's go into who we are
Yeah,
as
we already touched on this a
people.
little bit.
Oh, right, we
Yeah,
did.
we can keep on though.
Um,
Life story in 30 seconds, Ron.
Like, I mean, I was born and raised in Hong Kong. I went to a public school there. Um, didn't go to international school, so didn't really speak English growing up. And then after sixth grade, after I graduated elementary school, I moved to California with my mom, and I went to middle school there. Went to this small Catholic middle school. Um, and it was a good time. I met a lot of great people and definitely opened up my worldview a little more because I was, you know, stuck in this place, called little city called Hong Kong, where most people, look like me and think like me. Everybody just, do the same thing. And so moving to the U.S. definitely helped opening up my worldview a little more. And after middle school, I went to Northfield Mount Herman, a boarding school in Western Massachusetts in the middle of nowhere. But it was a great time. I met people like Drake and a lot of other great friends that hopefully you guys will see and meet and hear from on this show
Mm-hmm.
in the future.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, it was a great time. Definitely learned a lot about myself and the world and everything. It was a good time. And now I'm going to Babson College studying business/economics/business analytics, hoping to pursue an entrepreneurial path moving forward. How about you, Drake?
Hell yeah. For me, I was born in Atlanta, Georgia. Yeah, this is a very different place than wherever we ended up meeting, which is or Northfield Mount Herman.
Right? Who would have
Um,
thought?
it's very different from Hong Kong, even more so. My dad was really deep into music. So was my mom. That's kind of the world I was born into. Um, Rougher times growing up. Mom was unemployed, um, and just just having to just figure things out. Kind of on the edge of the middle class. Now she's a teacher, and yeah, there wasn't really going anywhere in Atlanta, so made the decision to get up on out of there. So I went to Northfield Mount Herman for 4 years. That's the experience and opportunity of a lifetime, which I will forever be grateful for. Incredible place where I was able to meet people like Mr. Ronald Wang, people from different corners of the world who I never, ever, ever thought I'd have the pleasure of being in the same room with. For and not necessarily always a pleasure, because people like him are fools and just complete doofuses, but eventually you learn to deal with.
Or jabronis, as Will Reed like to call us.
Yeah, brownies.
Jabronis, yep.
Yeah, but it was for real an incredible, incredible experience, and put me on the path now where I'm at NYU, majoring in politics, and hopefully one day having a career in public service, politics, Senate.
Obama 2.0.
Hey, bro, you know what I mean? Black Bernie, you know what I mean? Like, who
Black
knows?
Bernie, okay,
Black, you
okay.
know what I mean? Who knows? But
I
yeah,
heard
yeah,
you, I heard you.
yeah. So
Yeah,
that's kind of who
and
I am. Oh,
yeah,
and this leads into the next thing we want to talk about, which is
right.
what is our vision?
Right.
Each
Before
of
though,
our
before we dive into that, I just want to say, if you guys want to learn more about Drake's story, there's a very, very great YouTube video that we put out about a week ago on YouTube. Empowered is our channel.
uh,
Link in the bio of our Instagram page if you want to check it out.
amen to that.
Definitely very insightful
If
to
you're not
learn
sub
about
to the
Drake's
YouTube,
story.
bro, if you're not sub to the YouTube, like, what are you doing with your life?
Come on
Okay,
now.
yeah, like sub. Thank you.
All right. Yep. Yep. But
Shameless plug.
right.
Shameless plug. But yeah, yeah. Um, so we want to talk about our vision, right? How we
Right,
view
like
the
how we
world.
view the world, our lives. It's
This
actually a
gets
pretty interesting topic. I like to talk about this with a lot of people because everybody has their own distinct and unique worldview. Um, how would you say that you view the world today?
man. The world is a. Honestly, we were talking about this last night, right? How I would want to raise my kids. I want to raise my kids to be prepared for whatever this world's going to bring towards them. I want them to know that this world can be a rough and unforgiving place, but that if you have values and if you have passions and if you have a drive, you can make it. You can make it. And obviously that's not to excuse that there's plenty of institutional disadvantages. I'm a progressive. Again, I voted for Bernie. Like, best believe I understand there's plenty of institutional disadvantages, but I'm for helping the individual reaches the highest peaks that they can reach. You know what I mean? And in order to do that, there has to be a certain set of values that you come back to, a certain set of drives and passions that you come back to that gives you determination, that gives you resolve to face all of the obstacles that are going to be thrown in your way due to being an American or due to being a human or whatever. So it's a rough world out here. That's the way I view
Yeah,
the world. But I will also say that just in general, I think that humanity, as we continue on, the world becomes better and better, decade by decade, year by year, ever so slightly. More rights are being won. More people are less hungry. It's a good, yeah. That's what I would say about the world in general. But
no,
individually, it's what I feel.
I totally agree. Um, just to add on a little bit to what you were saying, though, I view this world with a lot of optimism and also a lot of potential. Like I think every person has a lot of potential, untapped potential, constricted obviously by a lot of institutional disadvantages, like Drake briefly mentioned. Um, but at the same time, I think a big part of that constraint comes from within themselves. Not taking the time to truly learn about who they are, what they're meant to do, um, you know, being at peace with things they can control, just like little things that hold them back from fulfilling their full potential. And I see that in my family members, my close friends, my just people around me every day. And again, that kind of ties back to why I want to share these lessons. It's exactly for that reason. I feel like a lot of people could benefit from just these small lessons that would make a huge impact in their lives and actually help them reach the mountaintop, whichever, whatever that may be for them. But
Amen
I
to
do
that.
view this world with a lot of optimism because I feel like everybody has a chance to reach mountaintop, that mountaintop that they so aspire to reach.
Yeah. And I'll also add that like we haven't reached our mountaintops in the slightest.
Exactly. Yes.
Like, we're just 19 years old, but
Yeah.
by the same token, like as we're going along our journey, um we want to be able to share whatever that we've learned, and along y'all's journey as well, y'all can share back. Which is incredibly important. But it's as long as it's in the spirit of, this is the spirit that we want to help foster. As long as it's in the spirit of self improvement and drive and facing the world with this realistic optimism every single day. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up because that's imperative to what we're doing. That's very important to mention because we are in the end 18 and 19-year olds, right? Obviously, we're going to keep growing and there's so many life lessons that we have yet to encounter, yet to learn. So many challenges that we have yet to face. And we're just getting started, but we feel like whatever lessons that we take from our life experiences, we think that sharing these would definitely help somebody that would be able to empathize with our past situations and you know would find those lessons or tips or whatever that we put out there useful in their own lives. But
Absolutely.
yeah, like you said, we're still growing, we're still learning. So by no mean we're trying to teach from like a perspective where we've already learned everything, right? That's
Yeah, I'm
that's
the
not the
Buddha.
idea.
I'm
Exactly.
Jesus. I know everything. Yeah.
Exactly.
I completely, yeah. I think yeah. We said that. We said that, and hopefully um we can all grow together. How about that? You know what I
How
mean?
about that? Preach.
Hell yeah. Um,
Yeah,
what?
so that's pretty much what Empowered is about for anybody who is a little vague on the motivation or the idea behind this passion project of ours, because trust us, we were as confused as you were. We were quite, we weren't sure what this was. We bounced around from back and forth between a lot of ideas, but we thought ultimately it could just be as simple as me and him living life, and we share whatever lessons that we encounter, hoping that those lessons could benefit one person. Really, that's all we're asking for. That's all we're hoping for.
Amen to that. Amen to that.
Yep. So after we talk about, now that we're done talking about what Empowered is, let's talk about the Ascent. So obviously the Ascent is a small part, or let's not say small, but a part of what we want to do with Empowered, right?
Yes,
Trying to
sir.
spread the word, share our lessons, yada
Making
yada.
content for sure.
Exactly. So what can the listeners expect from this podcast?
You can expect a variety of guests. We're trying to bring in people, I mean, people that we know personally, from past teachers and mentors and coaches, all the way to some of our dearest friends, just to connect and see where they are on their journey, because that's what this is all about. And hopefully, y'all can learn from some of them, and hopefully, you can be inspired by some of them, because we certainly have been at many parts of our journeys here. Like some of the people that we're about to bring on to y'all, like have truly helped change the course of our lives, um, and as well as politicians, activists, councilmen, and men and women, like incredible folks, eventually entrepreneurs, business leaders, and maybe even a special guest that we've already talked about. But we're going to keep it a surprise. So
Right. Stay
yeah,
tuned.
stay tuned, bro. Keep tuning in. So that's what you can expect, and just in general for the vibe. A nice casual vibe, but also a vibe of educational exploration, if that makes any sense. Um, We want to make sure that we're not being afraid to reach into the very corners of our minds and just talk about that stuff. We don't want to make sure that we're keeping an intellectual attitude around here. And we're not just trying to you know just come over here and completely BS around. Because I think it's good to come over here and just talk about things that we really care about.
Exactly, exactly. And like you said, you're gonna see a very diverse group of guests. Um, from past mentors to people we've never met, business leaders, politicians, people who help change the course of our lives and everybody's lives in today's society. So that's what you can expect from this podcast. And we're at the moment we're planning to do this podcast weekly. So stay tuned and look forward to a new episode dropping every Friday, available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and pretty much anywhere that you listen to your podcasts. Me and Drake and a guest that you can find out before the podcast actually drops on our Instagram page at Feel Empowered, EmpowRD.
If you ain't following that page, what you really doing with your life, bro? Come on, man.
Exactly.
Follow the
So
Insta. We have a TikTok coming up too. All right, you're gonna be seeing a lot of us on the TikTok. Actually,
on the
well, just me.
TikTok, just Drake in
Actually,
the meantime
yeah.
because I am
But
currently in Hong Kong where
it's
TikTok is
okay.
not available. But Drake will keep you entertained in the meantime.
Absolutely. And at the end of the duration of the summer, Ron will be joining me on the TikTok, and it will be an absolute vibe.
Right. And on top of this, we have a lot of ideas that we hope could just expand the scope of beneficiaries of this passion project. Um, I know that was very, very vague, but that's also because we also don't know what it may entail. But all I can tell you is that a lot of great things are coming and that we're working on it.
A lot of
We're
things in
working
the
on
works, that's for sure. We're definitely in the birth stages of this project, but it can turn into something really, really beautiful. And we're both very committed to this. And we're going to see it through to the best version of it that it can be. So we appreciate y'all listening this far in the dang thing. And we appreciate it and love and support. And we're going to keep it moving.
we're gonna keep it moving. And next Friday will be the next episode of the Ascent, and it will be the first episode that will feature a guest. Who will that guest be? Stay tuned.
That was so, oh my goodness. I hated that. I hated how you did that. Stay tuned. Cliffhanger, he
Stay
said.
tuned.
Peace, y'all. See y'all in a week. Be easy.
Adios. Hope y'all enjoyed it.